Okay, yeah, three, two, one. We are live. What is happening, people? What is happening? It's cool. So right now, I actually have a little bit of music running up in the background. I'm not gonna be able to play it for too long, obviously, because IP and all that stuff. But I just really love the song so much. You know what I mean? Um, I actually mentioned earlier on that yeah, little bit of a heavy metal fan, a little bit of metal fan. So that's actually running in the background. But if you want to listen along with me, I'm listening to Meshuggah, new Millennium Cyanide Christ. That's currently what is up. That is currently what is up. It means I also once again already mentioned in the previous step that um there will be some noise, but also I might be having some trouble with like my PC so far. It's still kind of like getting to grips with the fact that I'm running like 1,000 billion apps at the same time. But eventually, it's gonna respect itself. I shouldn't like punish it for too long, to be honest. So maybe at least try like pausing that music just to see what I'm working with, and while that's booting up, continue giving a little bit of context about me. So yeah, I squeezed in a little sneak peek early on about how I'm like a little bit of a coder, and I hadn't successfully done something. Okay, I haven't successfully shown you what it is that I can do. Right, my players have already been using some of the stuff that I've been doing. Like for example, and I'm not quite sure what's going. Okay, yeah, cool. So my players have been using something called the iLuminac, which is essentially a real-time showcase of how it is that my players will be interacting in the eye, or at least it shows a real time between where my players are within the eye, and the eye is just this giant hurricane that plenty of people live in, much wider than the horizon. Horizon is about like what, 4 kilometers, but the diameter of this particular hurricane is about 50. So yeah, you can't really see the wall. But the point or the time at which you do see the wall, you want to run for your life because you're not quite sure whether or not it's moving quickly or slowly. It's very not what's this thing predictable. But that's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish with this story that I'm about to build. A little bit actually. So I'm gonna try and do my best and give you a little bit of context here. I'm trying to create a world better than the last. I mean, every DM's dream, right? If you know what I'm talking about. Better than the last. So yeah, actually, what's interesting is that I really thought that I could interact with something, but okay, I'll just pop it up. Who knows? Yeah, I think interacting is really just like a browser thing. If I don't really think about it, but like yeah, cool. We're dealing with the Genesis myth. So the Genesis myth. It's the three great lies of reality. Okay, so the three great lies of reality is firstly, gods are not whimsical characters with omnipotent domains. I'm sure that you can read, but they're essentially anything that's beyond the self, anything that's faceless, the unnegotiable forces of nature, and they, in a sense, have been coined or best understood by the sun, the ocean, the dark, the earth, and the air. Now, the reason why or let me actually give you even more context if I can be honest. The reason why I started out with this campaign in particular is actually a follow through from a session 0 that I had with Ren. Now, I will be uploading that video at some point, but I doubt I streamed it. I actually doubt that I streamed it. But yeah, essentially, he was like, I actually came up to him and was like, yo, I want to make a campaign with you. I think you're a really interesting guy. You really got your D&D on point. You know what the fuck you talking about. You know what I mean? And I won't lie, he's actually written some really interesting books in the past. I'm one of his fans. I'm actually generally one of his fans. I'm really good at world building. He's really good at character development. And they usually say that like a team of two like us is unmatchable. But of course, actually coming up and sitting down and doing the work is easier said than done. You know what I mean? I mean, like, it's so much more harder when you're dealing with a whole bunch of people and it's like a D&D session and you have to like schedule 5, 6, 10 people all at the same time and it's not that easy. And again, I'm running a whole lot of different campaigns. So again, not that easy. But kind of in my ballpark since I'm always like organizing people every now and then. But yeah, man, I've been digressing. Essentially, I came up to him and was like, I think we can start something really cool. What kind of stories do you think would really interest you? And he's like, and the word he likes to use is a cratocracy advocate, like a person who believes in strength more than everything, right? So uh, he believes in power, and I was like, I could do power, right? And then he's like, oh, hey, I have this cool idea. And we didn't notice it at the time, but it actually had a lot of similarities to the story arc of one of these characters from Fantasy High. I don't know if you, I mean, you probably guys watch Dimension 20, and if you haven't, Jesus Christ, you're living under a rock, like, whoa. But yeah, really cool story. Essentially, one of the characters meets a god and doesn't agree with them and does their own thing, right? And I mean, as they go along the way, they meet other gods and they eventually become their patron, and they truly take the cleric path in a way that makes sense for them, much and very much similar to how anybody follows through with a religion and make it make sense for them. But yeah, that really inspired Ren. And he was like, yeah, we can do something like that. Well, that's not what we were going for, but we ended up falling to it. But I didn't want to make a carbon copy. Like, I very much believe that the brand of this channel, this Twitch account, this whatever, well, whatever it is I'm doing, it's supposed to be a creative outlet. So I wouldn't feel completely comfortable just copy and pasting a story and then like making my own spin. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need to immediately jump out of the rails here. And I was like, okay, fine. Instead of taking gods as they typically are, let's introduce a different way of conceptualizing gods. In a very big way, it might change the mechanics a little bit, but not in a pragmatic way, but just in a perspective way, in like how we approach it. So I was like, look, let's challenge what we believe as gods. And it took very much my own life experiences. And that's where we started out. Where it really started with the three great lies of reality. I was like, first of all, gods are not gods. There is only what is uncontrollable, what we fear. As humanity, gods are our limitations, not even our unlimitedness, or rather, because we have limitations, we attribute them to omniscience, to omnipotence, to limitlessness. So that's where God's lies. It's fear. It's inability, and we anthropomorphize our inabilities or lack thereof, or just put a name on it, call it God, call it infinity, call it zero, call it money. You know what I mean? It's a concept. It's a concept that we put along things, and that's what I was going for. I was really trying to like develop this philosophy. So I went in and I was like, okay, fine. Other than that, there's probably something more that I can do over here. I said magic isn't occultic whispers. It's really just distilling the forces of nature. So instead of coming in and saying, oh, magic is just, oh, hey, I read a couple of charts, I studied for a few years, and I'm a wizard, or something of that nature. I wanted to like peel back reality a little bit more and say, okay, fine, cool, there's magic, but it's not how people typically imagine it. In the same way, it's not how gods are typically imagined. And then I said, yo, if you just distill the forces of nature, if you distill things that are beyond you, then you would come close to as magic as you can get. So it's very close to science, if you will, but even science is a lot more, it's a lot more sterile than magic. That's what I was kind of going for. The last thing is that humanity created these gods in their minds and magic in their hands. And it again comes from their limitlessness, their inability. But humanity itself, as an aggregate, as a whole, is not some victim. It's actually a powerful force, something that the many greedy individuals covet. They want to control the people. If you control humanity, which in and of itself has become a force of nature, you can become something. So yeah, I really like went with it. I just like jumped in. I was like, oh yeah, cool. We have this world that has no real gods and we have no real magic and humans are powerful, so what? Right? And then I made the realization that what I can do is, since these are three great lies, what are the half truths? So what are the beliefs that actually hold up this world that I'm creating? And yeah, I basically said, okay, fine, gods exist in the general public mind, but only because of the facades of the people in power. And so I came up with different kinds of colonies. Colonies is actually a terrible word. States, nations, if you will, empires, in actuality, that have different ways of controlling their people, for sure. And it's typically through the voice of a god, right? And the voice of God is obviously not going to be a piece of dirt just saying, "Yeah, what's up, dude?" Like, no, it's a great priest. It's a great warrior priest who is forged when a mortal with extreme affinity to one of these forces of nature is like sired or undergoes something called incarnate magic, so that the gods inhabit their body at will. That's what the people know. That's what the people are being told. And we start this story with one of our characters being exactly one of those people. Become a great warrior priest, or in the process of becoming a great warrior priest. They go through incarnate magic, but as you go through incarnate magic, which is one of the first magics that's ever existed in this world that I'm creating, they come to know the three great lies of reality. So at first they're just a denizen like every other person. They go through something called incarnate magic and channel the power of one of these unnegotiable forces of nature and learn about the three great lives. It's part and parcel. It's what happens. But upon learning about that information, and this is something that I was still working on in a very big way, he falls from grace. And that's a word that I actually really wanted to use. So the people know falls from grace as the God abandoning you. You no longer serve the God and you must be killed. The lore is that if there would be any great warrior priest that will fall from grace instead of dying from natural or unnatural deaths, or just like leaving this world, they need to be killed because there's been a prophecy. Anybody who falls from grace, any great warrior priest that falls from grace, will bring back the demon lord, and the demon lord is a central figure with the world that I'm building. So we have this character who falls from grace, and immediately the world around him vies to kill him. They're trying to kill this dude. You're not supposed to fall from grace. Once you do, you're gonna die, right? But he survives. But it's not like a permanent thing. It's an ongoing thing. He's constantly trying to run away from the temple inquisitors, if you will, who would vie for his life. And I'm hoping that Ren plays his character. He's gonna co-DM. He has a lot of the information that I'm already creating. But yeah, we're trying to do something really interesting. Like, he's gonna co-DM. He's gonna be a character within the characters. The other characters will probably not know that he's like an MVP, and I'm hoping that he'll be able to like play off the character as well enough. But yeah, he's gonna come in. He's gonna like run away from the Temple Inquisitors. One of my other characters, I'm hoping I'm gonna convince somebody to be another Temple Inquisitors, and my job as DM is to like force them together, right? So I force them together, a Temple Inquisitor and a fallen great priest, and a bunch of people who probably want to fuck shit up. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it up to the other players to see what kind of character they want to play. And yeah, there's a lot of literature. There's a lot of lore that I'm trying to create with this particular story. And I actually really went into it. Let me actually give you a little bit more context. Like, okay, I've mentioned already that like his fall from grace is really just like a fallen affinity as a result of his ambition. I will have to mention that. As in, for you to have a high affinity to the ocean, for example, you have to be a particular kind of person. You have to have a particular set of talents. You have to, I don't know, magic affinity. I really don't want to have to go into like explain all that. Like, it's like explain how quantum physics has a play in like magic. I'm not gonna do that. Like, come on. But yeah, his affinity drops because of his ambition. And his ambition is something that most of the great warrior priests have to kind of quell. They all have their own domains and they stick within those domains. Once they have ambition more than just that, then they fall from grace. And that's essentially what he did. The question is whether or not he did it just as he got the incarnate magic happened to him, or whether or not he had a few years really actually doing it. I do that thing a lot. I'm so sorry. Comes with the talking, I guess. I promise I don't usually talk like this. But I do talk nerdy. I'll tell you that for free. Cool. So where else was I? Yeah. He comes in, he does incarnate magic. He falls from grace because he's too ambitious. And people are really like vying for him. There's 3 different kinds of empires. So I'm going to jump into it. I'm still trying to decide for sure which particular world he comes from. But yeah, let me see some. Okay, cool. That works way better than what the hell was going on before. Cool. Yeah, that still doesn't work as best as I hoped. Still getting used to this whole OBS conversation. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I mean, I'm already showing you what it is that I got going on. Oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. I get it. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm making a lot of noise. I'm so sorry. I'm just like learning on the job. You know, like when you're writing a test and like you're learning as you're writing the test. Yeah, don't do that, kids. Like seriously, study. It's really important that you study. For me, study for me. Okay, yeah. But yeah, world details. So yeah, like there's three empires, right? Corner of the ocean, corner of the sun, and corner of the earth. They all have different ways and approaches in which they can control the people and their resources. I figured that corner of the sun is aristocracy. It's aristocracy, theocracy, and the reason why it's important for me to like put the theocracy is because essentially, yeah, again, gods play a really big part in controlling the people. If you can encapsulate a weakness, attribute it to a specific place, and then give a sense of agency to it, that gives you, if not at least power, it definitely gives you peace of mind. You know, you don't have to like sit waking at night whether or not the ocean is going to consume you, because you know that the gods or the god of ocean has your best interest at the heart. Or at least even if he doesn't, you can negotiate with him with a sacrifice, or have what's the word I'm looking for? Or have an advocate, an intercessor, if you will. So that's how religions are born. But the religion is pushed so far to the point that it becomes a theocracy. That's what we're actually dealing with here. So, Corner of Sun is more aristocratic. I always like imagined Zuko. Like I'm imagining the Fire Nation in this point. These guys look Japanese as hell. In fact, you can actually read some of the description that got going on. Like they live in the mountains mostly. And yeah, they specialize actually with mining. Because like they live in the mountaineer area. Just something about their geography, the asteroids hitting them right at the equator, because they're actually also very much found along the equator. They have resources, but and this will actually sound very politically charged, but they're a little bit like Saudi Arabia. Oh no, Saudi Arabia, Dubai. That's the word I'm looking for. Like a lot of people who come from Dubai don't actually do much. They got other people to work on that, and that's kind of like the vibe here. If you are royalty or in any way associated as a citizen, you're chilling. You're living your best life. But much also like the American times back in the days, or really any nation that's more than 400 years old, slaves. Things are done. Things are done using slavery. Terrible stuff. But I needed to have a kind of civilization that actually takes advantage of that. I'll explain a little bit in a bit. This whole corner of the ocean, this is actually a lot more to what we have in our current day, at least from a Western perspective. Think America meets Legend of Avatar. Legend of Korra. Yeah, so it's a democratic theocratic policy. You elect the next pope almost. It's like Vatican. Yeah. It's like America meets Legend of Korra meets Catholicism. You know, you elect a pope, and that pope is it's the one that kind of like leads the people. They have the quickest turnover. So the leaders of the corner of the ocean last a little bit shorter. You have corner of the earth. Those are socialists. So think China a little bit meets Russia if like or meets Soviet Union. Uh, except what's also interesting, and I don't know if I actually read it. Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, their great priest is a true savant. So I'm thinking that this guy is like a genuine genius. But not only that, as far as people know, he's the only great piece. So he might be hundreds of years old, but he looks like like an 80-year-old man whose eyes are always dancing, like calculating things and whatnot. Not the most social individual, but given his power, yeah, he's a real threat. He doesn't control a large mass of man, but he controls a piece of man that's strategic in a very, very proper way. So yeah, there's a lot of like moving pieces here. Lastly, there's also like the fallen corner of the dark. This used to be the empire that ruled them all. In fact, it's a true theocracy. It's nobody's brought into power or nobody's like decided upon. Nobody like they believe the one true God is the great priest. In fact, the term great priest actually came from him. From this, these guys actually invented the magic. They invented incarnate magic. They were the first persons to create magic. So yeah, a little bit of the history. I'll actually give you a little bit more context here. But yeah, the world history is like first there was only war. Like there was just like nations fighting against each other, hating each other, and then like a once in a eon, multi-millennia, a true genius, a pure genius. Like imagine it's like the 1300s or something like that, and a pure genius comes up, but they're not going to be boggled down by science. You know, they're not going to like look at world in just like a reductionist perspective. They're not going to be your next Da Vinci. This guy goes beyond borders of thought and conception. He was the creator of magic, and he was the first god. And in his unnerving and unmatched power, he took over the world. He became a tyrant. He made a single empire. He did what most people wished to do. Well, not most people, but most crazy people in power. But yeah, created an entire world or got the entire world under his rule. And he became the demon lord simply because of his methods. But yeah, I mean, you can keep reading. They created the sun as well. A new god rose to challenge him on the day of new, or on Nova, as I wanted to call it. So the sun rose, stormed his castle, and demanded his head. And lo and behold, the sun was not actually the first or second god to be shown, or really, let me be specific, great priest. It was actually the earth. The earth actually was playing their hand under the dark. So the earth that lay behind the dark. And the reason why I'm also putting this is like there's a lot of there's like a lot of lore that I'm like building. There's a lot like a history that's like built into. This is like the second most expensive world that I've made. But in terms of sheer quality, this one has a whole lot more details going on. Yeah. Now, I've been talking a lot. Gosh, I wish I was with somebody. A little lonely, right? Not really. I'm actually having a little bit of fun here. But yeah, I've given you a little bit of the history. There's so much that I could go on. I could talk about this world that I'm building for hours. But the challenge that I have like right now is that, again, very good at world building. Really good. Okay, I mean, I'm decent. Okay, I'm kind of decent at world building. But will I be able to make characters will I be able to make characters that are actually interesting? That's the challenge that I have in front of me. And that's what I was hoping that this session would exactly be. Like I said at the top of my head, our main character, we do have an MC. That's going to be Ren. He's also gonna be the co-DM, right? But let me see. I actually want to check something. I want to see if my music is playing as well as I hope. Blah 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 blah. It's better. Yeah. Okay, I can work with this. But yeah, where was I? Actually, you wanna listen? No. Okay, agree. Okay, yeah. I got the lyrics wrong. It's alright. Cool. Okay, cool. So I'm dealing with like an MC, and this MC, I'm not sure how he's gonna play. And the reason why I I'm having a little bit of trouble with this is that when I make characters like NPCs, it very much depends on like the kind of players that I'm dealing with. Because like if you make a character and you obsess over something, but like they don't give a fuck about that guy, like you've wasted your time. In fact, there's this guy called Orc that I created in one of the campaigns called the Blind Conquest. I really do that thing. So self-conscious. Sorry about that. But yeah, in the Baron White, sorry, not Blind Conquest. In Baron White, I created a character called Orc and I made him very annoying, but only because I kind of put that as a barrier. He's supposed to be the most interesting character of everybody. And sneak peek or spoiler alert, yeah, without him, those guys are so screwed. And yeah, they just let him die. And I was just like, bruh, why, like, I thought we were all in this together. What happened to all for one and one for all? None of that shit. Like, they're not having it. So, I'm trying to create a character that will kind of like move the story a little bit along. I would love some ideas. I won't lie. So I don't know if this is on YouTube. Put something in the comments and tell me what kind of characters that you guys would be really excited to see. Um, but yeah, I actually have to use some brain cells here. I don't typically think and talk at the same time. Okay, cool. You know what? Let's just do some like light scrolling. Maybe we're gonna see something that might inspire us. Maybe, maybe. So let's see what I got going on over here. What? I thought for sure I could interact with this. Unless it's a situation where I have to unlock it and then I can interact. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So what do we got here? What the hell? Nani? Oh snap! I don't think. Okay, cool. I can. Okay, cool. Uh. Oh wow, you're not supposed to see that. Oh no, you're definitely not supposed to see that. Just a second. You know, I'm actually gonna have to hide this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was not supposed to happen. Wild. Okay, cool. Um, did it log me out? I think it logged me out. I just realized I've been talking for at least 20 minutes nonstop. That's gotta be a skill somewhere. It's gotta be, right? Yep, this is not working. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remove that. Yeah, I'm gonna remove D&D Beyond. And I'm going to have to add, that's weird. I'm gonna have to add a screen. Now the screen will be a problem. My PC just started getting used to the fact that I have so many applications running about. Just got used to it, like right now. So I don't think this would work really well for me, but it's worth a shot. It means it's worth a shot. The audio is definitely gonna dip. It's definitely gonna dip. definitely like yeah, definitely gonna go down. But okay, I'm just gonna like do that, and I gotta do a whole lot of others. Like to be honest, all that extra stuff not helpful. So let's see, what's that? 50 pixels? Not even 150 pixels. Okay, well, less than that. Oh no, now you know what. Uh, just got that to be on. Yeah, no. I don't D&D, to be honest. Like, it seems like a song is like, yeah, this makes sense. D&D Beyond. Like, I'll be watching videos from like places like Critical Role, and thinking like it's like super new, like it's like the whole enchilada, and like, dude, they completely like they just unlocked. I don't know when this is gonna go up. Like they unlocked like a whole VTT thing just recently. Just one about VTT, and they have failed us for taking too much time on that. Okay, I would have loved to have D&D Beyond create a VTT for us to like play it, but they just got it, and above VTT we like beat them to the punch. It's like, no, I don't want to use D&D Beyond. I don't feel like what that works. What that works. Why do I switch? So far, can't tell them what like the quality is. Like, I mean, you have sessions about. I haven't really tried a world that just uses other stuff you use. But, I mean, you could tell me in the comments. Tell me like what's up. Like maybe it's actually worth a shot. Maybe it's not as demanding on the browser. If you tell me that D&D Beyond's above VTT is like way better on my machine than above VTT, I'm still gonna make the switch. I will still make the switch. It's worth it. It really is worth it. But yeah, what the hell are we dealing with today? Yeah, these are just like a bunch of campaigns that we got running on. This is something that I've been cooking for a while. Shh, don't tell the other players. Don't tell the other players. This is something that I should be on. Like, this is something I'm playing in. But the guy is just not good at, like, scheduling it. Like, I am about Dungeons and Dragons, but, like, I ain't playing. Yeah, these are just like a few campaigns that I have done over the times. You can look at some of the titles and keep an eye out for them. If you're on YouTube, you're gonna see them for sure. And some of these things I haven't actually streamed either. It's just like a couple of sessions that I have recorded, but I haven't actually like streamed. So there's a little bit for everybody. All right, cool. So I'm gonna take an opportunity here and maybe look at some. I'm gonna look at like some backgrounds here. Is acolyte. What's an acolyte? Just a second, guys. Receiving a little bit of love and attention. What's up? Please. What time is time?
I don't know, it's an event, so you know it goes up until, but like I'll try to be on time.
What's on time?
Events finish at 5 in the morning, but I'll try to be like there here at 1.
Okay, you can come at 2 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I figure out what to wear. I should have showered a few.
Yeah. Anyways, cool. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I am a DM, but my rules, like the understanding of the rules, is not as good as I hope for. But yeah, cool. Acolyte. You devote yourself to the service of a temple. This makes perfect sense for the temple inquisitors. Or instigators? Inquisitors? Something of the sort. my, my problem with that is that we already have, or I'm already hoping for a character who's an acolyte. But if we don't have that person, we might have to. I mean, if we don't have a character who's willing to play a cleric, this just might have. I just might have to create that person. Uh, interesting, interesting. Okay, okay. We could probably work with this one. Let me see what Baldur's Gate's got going on. Maybe. Oh, I'm not. I don't. I don't got money like that. Same thing over here, probably. Yeah. I need to buy the books. Gosh darn it. Yeah. But Charlatan, I think, also might have a place for this thingy. I also do believe I'm going about this a little bit wrong. I might just. I might be going about this a little bit wrong. Okay. Let me give you a little bit of train of thought here. Alright. Um sheesh. When I'm dealing with Genesis, right? What I'm trying to instigate in my characters is I'm trying to challenge their belief, right? Typically, when I'm dealing with like worlds, I'm trying to create wonder. I mean, it's blind conquest. You going in not knowing what's up, but like you're gonna learn as you go through it, and you find something new, right? And we all do. Me as a DM, as you guys say whatever it is that you want to go and do, and me and you as the players as I create this world around you. So I want to challenge their belief. And I think the word belief is correct. Their individual belief. So each person probably has like something that they believe in. I know a lot of people are Christian, and that's kind of like a low ball. It's a long hanging fruit. Like it's so easy to like hate on Christians. Like shout out to more Christians, right? Spread the word and all that good stuff. Um, they don't really need the hype because they're out here, to be honest. But yeah, there's Christian belief, there's atheist beliefs for sure. There's science. People believe in science. People believe in experience, right? Their own self experience, to be honest. Self experience. Let me be more explicit about that. What else do people believe in? Let's see. Money. People believe in money. Or also, maybe say human nature. They have preconceptions of what human nature is, right? And I also want to like break down a little bit of what this means. Most people, when they live their lives, I mean, you grow up with. I mean, you start out first just trying like learning consistencies. Oh, when I move, when I feel this particular way, there's a change in light, for example, in front of me. And then you do that over and over time. You realize that that feeling is you willing your hand to move, and you recognize that this is a part of you. You stop looking at the world as just like this thing that happens, but you being something that interacts with it. You gain a kind of ego, if you will. Or is it super ego, inner ego, shadow? I don't know. What's the name of that? It's not Carl Jung. Carl Jung, or is it for what? Sigmund Freud? Either one of them bitches, bro. I don't. I'm not a psychologist. Interesting stuff, but I'm not a psychologist. But yeah, people build their perceptions of the world, bit by bit, and they keep building on the foundations that they have. And every time somebody pulls the rug from under you on like your perceptions, that that will that will cause you to have a huge panic attack or some kind of psychosis for sure, a real breakdown of your psyche. That's what the word psychosis is. Electrolysis. Isis means breakdown, psychosis means psyche, anyways. So yeah, I'm trying to challenge the foundations of what these are built on. I believe that theists believe in a higher power or an order to reality. And oh wow, it looks like I just got disconnected. Hopefully the recording is a whole lot more better. Oh, I just remembered that I actually needed to like put up my stream bot. I can actually just close this then if it's like really that much, but my reconnection has been successful. Frame rates is slowly climbing, but it's still pretty much miserable. Yeah. No idea how I sound, no idea, but we move. Anyways, cool. So yeah, they just believe in a higher power in order to the reality. I need to create a character that challenges an order to reality. So create a character that is nonsensical, maybe nonsensical. Um, something like Luffy. Luffy's supposed to be this like almost deity. You know what I mean? Like things happen in a cartoon fashion simply because he's there. Watashi wa kita or something like that. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need somebody who can do a little bit of them crazy things. Make people think, okay, if I pray or if I believe in something, yeah, maybe. But then, not just nonsensical. They have to challenge morality, right? Because I also very much believe that in our need for order and reality, a lot of our reality is not just the physical laws of nature. And that's where a lot of creation myths come from. We need an answer to why the world exists, and gods are an answer to that. And in a big way, a lot of the things I'm going to create from here are going to be the same thing: a need for power, a need for food, a need for safety. You know what I mean? Here, I'm thinking that this character challenge morality because there's sometimes a need for morality. You just minding your own fucking business, you know what I mean? And then some dudes show up screaming Valhalla and they murder everybody and do some nasty stuff. Nasty stuff. And you ask yourself why, you know? And sometimes you need somebody to avenge you in your helplessness, in your hopelessness. So cool, let's create a Luffy like character who challenges morality, having people ask themselves why. Asking themselves, why am I going through all of this? Who is going to vindicate me? Or how do I make sense of the world that I live in today? I also believe that he has to do this at scale, you know what I mean? Um, Yeah, again, I'm having like technical issues over here a little bit. You're gonna have to bear with me. But yeah, Streambot's working. Love it. Love that it's working. I'm gonna keep cooking. All right, cool. So yeah, what am I dealing with here? They have to challenge morality. Have people asking themselves why. The kind of person that murders and what's the word I'm looking for? Mutilates. I don't know how to spell. Guys, okay, fine. I'm coming out. I am dyslexic. Or at least partially so. Probably on the spectrum somewhere. I won't lie. I mean, shit, I'm old as hell and I'm still spelling things wrong. I have to really like be careful as I go about it. Yeah. Mutilates people's tribes. Um, I'm thinking he has to do it single handedly. And I already have a plan for this person. I'm thinking that this individual doesn't have a physical body. I want, or I'm considering them being the god of air, like the priestess. Priestess. Ooh, maybe priest, priestess of air. Yeah. So, um, I don't know. She identifies as a woman, but she hops from body to body, fucking shit up. Seems very small time though. I think we can do a little bit more than that. I mean, what's the motive here? Why why does she do all of this? Maybe to make her mark. Maybe she wants to be permanent. Maybe she wants to be remembered. Wants to be remembered. Wants to make people feel what she feels. Nah, I don't think it's like that. Maybe she wants to make people have fun, but her fun is very twisted, right? And she hops from body to body looking for the most interesting thing. If if she's even remotely bored, even anywhere close to being bored, she's gonna hop to a different body, and she will fuck shit up. Um, I guess the real question is why does she hang around our character? Uh, why does she hang around a character? I don't see, I don't quite see yet how she would hang around our characters. Why she would fuck with them, to be honest. Um, maybe. Okay, give me a slight second, guys.
I didn't say you should pause.
Okay, but how can I both guess and do this thing?
I got my period.
Praise the Lord!
For real, for real. Like, yeah. But I don't know, because I just saw something, but no, it's not there. It's not there.
Okay.
I can just
Oh, okay. Okay, I was about to like jump out my seat, but like, anyways, cool, cool, cool. Anyways, cool. Where was I? Where was I? Yeah. I think her fun is very twisted. She could be a source of information, but sometimes she just steers the shit pot, you know? She usually follows interesting things. And one of the most interesting things is how fallen priests die. Cool. Uh, cool. Nice, 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 nice. That's actually pretty dope. So we'll have the priestess of air who truly exists without a body. And we'll also assume that she's a lot like the priest of earth, in that there's only been one priest of earth, and now there'll be also one priestess of air. She follows our character because usually how fallen fallen priests die is pretty interesting, but he's one of the most interesting of people because they don't live long. Once they fall from grace, they're quickly expunged, quickly quickly executed. So yeah, I think this is actually a really interesting character. I'm just trying my best to try and see how best they can challenge theists. Cause here I've anthropomized her a lot. Like, I mean that's the point, right? Like that's the whole point of like priests and whatnot. Um, yeah, we know why she does this. We're not supposed to know why. We have no idea why she does these things. Hell, yeah, okay. She's supposed to be unpredictable. This one's gonna be a little bit of a headache. I want to make Christians, Muslims, and Hindus all alike, kind of like shake a little bit and be like, Typhlos, are you good? Is everything fine at home? Tell me where they touched you. Like, I want to make a character like that. You know what I mean? Like, you see them on TV and you be like, whoa, I wish I could write that. Some of them take a little bit of time, but I'll get to that later on. How do we challenge people who are atheists? This one, a little bit easier. Sorry about that. I don't think atheists. Okay, I can speak in a small way on that, but like, yeah, atheists are not typically afraid of God. They just think it's unnecessary. A lot of them do, I feel. Like, it's unnecessary to have God in your life, especially in this day and age for a lot of atheists, because a lot can be explained without God. You know what I mean? No, I'm a lot can be explained without God, but not everything, you know. And I think they've come to grips with that, they're comfortable with that. But there's also like a bitter taste with a lot of how a lot of religious folk live their lives. They kind of like justify a lot of actions that are really not good. They're really not proper. So how do I challenge that in an atheist? I think atheists are not afraid of gods or God. I think they're scared to believe. Yeah. Because if they believe that God exists, it truly challenges what they believe, like, or what they don't believe. There's like, if you put a cross in front of them, they'll be like, okay, so what? But if you put a miracle in front of them, they have to go through logical heaps and hurdles to kind of like make sense of it. Like, oh no, it was just a flash of light. Oh no, it's just a coincidence. Oh hey, no, that was just like a mentality that they had that made them walk. But putting them through true miracles, that would scare the bejesus out of them, pun intended. So yeah, create a character that forces. Hold up, young second. I'm not doing a I am recording though. I am very much live. Yes, I'm not just talking to myself because I'm crazy.
But you don't have to pause every second.
Oh, you want to be a part of my scenario?
Yeah, I'm just asking a few questions.
Okay, you're very much live.
I'm about to leave.
Okay, yeah, no, that was my girl. She beautiful. She amazing. She's still around and stuff like that. She said I don't have to pause when she's around. So, play nice, guys. Well, no, she should play nice. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit of an introvert. Actually, that's cap. I'm very much an extrovert. I'm an ambivert. But she's an introvert. But it's weird because she likes going out, and I'm just like a chill dude. I'm just a chill guy, you know. So yeah, she's gonna have fun. Um, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah, cool. I was talking about how an atheist is scared to believe. So I have to create a character that forces our players to believe in a higher power. Which actually reminds me of a really cool show that I remember watching. What was it called again? Um, um, Chronicles of a Tyrant from Another World. I don't know, man. Honestly, it was just pretty dope though. Like the story is that somebody reincarnates, and God forces them to reincarnate. And the reason is it's because they're an atheist. They don't want to believe in God, and God literally shows up into their face and says, "Yo, so like you ready to go to heaven or hell?" And that guy's like, "I don't believe in neither. This is probably just like a fluke of my imagination. I'm having a hallucinogen from like the last moments of my life. This isn't real." you're not real, God's not real. And God's like, oh, for real? Bet I'm gonna reincarnate you. Then he gets reincarnated and he's still like, but you ain't real though. And God's like, bet I'm gonna give you powers and I'm gonna force you to use those powers, but the only way you can use those powers is if you pray to me. That was a really cool concept because there was like a spite there. It was like a spit in the face. And I'm not gonna lie, I resonated with that with a little bit. A little bit. I mean, I grew up a PK, so I raised under like a very strict family when it comes to like Christianity and whatnot. So yeah, they don't fit. They fit. Yeah, yeah, I remember them. Yeah, yeah. You look sexy though. Yeah, now she's just changing, whatever. But yeah, cool. How do I force the players to pray? I mean, every now and then you're gonna want to roll a d20. You're gonna pray for that d20 for sure. But that's the play. Those are the players. I want the characters to be forced to pray. Um, Maybe because the gods are very much a people thing. Maybe I have this character who, damn, I guess they're an inquisitor perhaps. Maybe they might be a temple inquisitor. Uh, who who not only who not only forces people to pay homage. How do you spell homage? That's homage. Homage to the nation's deity, but somehow forces the situation to favor the theocracy. I don't know. Something I'm looking at like I don't know if you guys have ever watched like videos or even attended like a church where like a prophet or something, a Christian prophet, I want to be more specific, goes about and he's like prophesying and like blessing people and like healing the sick and like all that stuff. A lot of what makes, at least my personal belief, a lot of what makes that work is the environment. If you're just a random person on the street and you got hit in the head, okay, if your anointing is strong enough or whatever, you're gonna fall to the ground or whatever. But other times you're just gonna be like, bro, what the fuck? Like, why are you hitting me? You know what I mean? So this person is a master. Oh man, what is it? Favor the theocracy. This person is a master manipulator who somehow manages to get people to depend on God or on the deity. I'm gonna have to figure out a way on how to do that. Um, uh, has loaded questions a lot like witch hunt that never ends. This could be an interesting individual actually. Yeah, so a character who's just always saying, "Did you just say that gods don't exist?" Or randomly asks you a quote from like a holy book, and if you answer incorrectly, then they start challenging you and your beliefs and really like going in on it and saying, "Yo, when's the last time you've actually, I don't know, paid homage to the deity or something like that?" Or if you haven't, what, and if you like keep refraining and keep fighting, more and more people come to you and be like, "Yo, you don't believe? How is it that you don't believe?" And then like your life is in danger. You know what I mean? Like you could very much get killed by the mob. But they should also be able to pull off small miracles. I think they might have to be something like a bard, maybe. Maybe a bard, something that gives inspiration. Let me actually do that properly. Gives inspiration. I don't know. Some like they gotta like flip the odds or luck, you know. They gotta like flip the odds to favor the deity that they serve somehow. Like, oh hey, a random person comes in and tries to fight you. They have to have like really good persuasion also. Really good charisma in general. Have to, but like it's not going to be for themselves. It's not going to be for their sake. It's going to be for the sake of their deity. And yeah, I think that should maybe cover it. It's not enough though. I don't think so. How do you create a character broken enough to make the situation suit them, but nerfed enough to not break the game? Like that's kind of hard. Like the best that I can think about is a person who knows everything that's gonna happen. And ooh, maybe, but most importantly, they are a prophet. They know what is going to happen, or at least many bits and pieces enough for the players to only make sense of it if their god made it possible. Cool. And I actually can do that, actually. Because I am the DM, I can give players sneak peeks of what they will encounter. They'll go into some kind of lull and say, you will fight an individual of great power and whatnot. You will come across an individual who will do this and that. Also, a great form source of information for the players, but annoying to deal with. Rah. Okay, cool. I think I have my atheist fighter. Atheist antagonizer? Yeah, so we have our theist antagonizer. Somebody who really makes us question whether or not morality is something that's objective or something that's human, that's a construct. Atheist antagonizer is a character who truly makes it possible for you to believe in the higher power simply because of how they do things, always forcing the situation to make you recognize the influence of God in your life, whether or not it's for your benefit or not. And yeah, that's an interesting character. Cool. Now we need somebody who tackles science. I don't want to go about it and say this is some ludded guy who's like awfully successful. I want to go about it and say this is a person who wholly and truly believes in science and making it work the way that it will. Okay, so for science, I'm going to come up with a character who believes in science, is a scientist, actually does scientific things, but they they don't suck at it, but they reveal the experimental nature of science. A lot of what science really is just trying to figure out how nature works. You're gonna try experimenting here, and then somebody else comes and like um, tells you otherwise, or shows you some counteractive evidence, and you have to like change your scope, and you have to like keep iterating. Science is an iteration process. So they have to show the flaws of an iterative process. Humans need answers and relief now, but science procrastinates our salvation. Yeah, that's actually a real dope quote. You can quote me on that. Science procrastinates our salvation. Please don't. But yeah, I think that's an interesting character. How is it that that person will be able to do that? That's where I'm a little bit like, whoa, how am I gonna do that, though? I'm thinking, okay, so let's say, I mean, eh, this is a person who is basically unreliable, unreliable in times of crisis, right? So whenever whenever fight breaks out, they try and fail and cower. So this guy probably has like the lowest dexterity, um, the lowest charisma, the lowest strength. Um, yeah, I think they'll be a one trick pony. All of their specs will be in intelligence. What's up? Powerful? They're very intelligent. Like they're a proper genius. Um, yeah, but in every other faucet they suck. Literally every other faucet. Question is why would they?
Well, then,
Huh?
will they last?
That's a good question. I think that our characters would have to protect them one way or form. Maybe they have a piece of technology that only he can manipulate that can really like help them get like an edge. I haven't figured out what that technology would be just yet. Uh, but thanks for the questioning. It really actually like puts a little bit of back and forth. In case those you guys didn't hear, she was basically asking like why is this guy why is this guy important? Why would we care? I'm still actually dwelling on that, but I was essentially saying he's incredibly intelligent. So I'm expecting to give him a trait of 20 in his intelligence. Truly gonna max out his intelligence feature, and everything else would be like 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, something like that. Let's see. Huh. The iterative nature of science. Okay, I watched this really cool video. Okay, really cool is a little bit of stretch, but I watched this video about a person who was basically talking about how the world of academia is flawed. People are always doing something called p hacking to make their statement known. Um, so that'd actually be cool. A little bit like the character from. In fact, I'm gonna make him exactly. Okay, almost exactly, almost exactly like um what was the name of He Who Remains from fucking Loki?
Oh, I forgot. I knew him as P. Williams.
Yeah, I know, but like, what's his actual name?
I don't know.
Shite. Goddamn. Like, exactly like He Who Remains, but the variant, right? He is a swindler. Yeah, cool. So this guy's gonna be a swindler, and but he's a genius. But either the technology is just doesn't catch up with magic as well as it should, or he always fucks it up in one way or form, or he's got this amazing piece of technology, but like nobody wants it. Like he'll create like the world's first toilet or something, but like it has no plumbing. Or like imagine creating like those Japanese toilets, the ones that like talk to you nicely and you can like make one of them your girlfriend or whatever. I don't know what they do up in Japan. I don't know what's happening in Japan. I mean, they invented hentai. They're gods among us at this point. But like, yeah. Imagine creating that toilet. He can create that toilet, but there's no plumbing system. So like the shit just like accumulates, and then eventually just like builds up or something. Something of that fashion. I think that's the kind of character he would be. Also, I think it should also very much speak to how science is built on the backs of giants. There is no such thing as a lone genius. So, true lone genius, which is why nothing he makes has uses except for the one thing that makes him important to the story, which is something he stole. Yeah. So this guy's a genius, and
Why would they still say it's something he made?
I want to make it so that he's made so many things, but they're all useless. And like the one thing that the characters are depending on him to operate, and he's really good at operating, obviously, because he's a genius, obviously. It's also something that he stole. So the one thing that makes him special, other people are like, yeah, you pretty baby.
Shoes.
You need shoes. All right, people, give me a young second. I gotta be a man now. Young second, people. Young second. I wish I had like music that I can play in background that wouldn't infringe on my rights. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Never mind, I already turned off the music. Young second, people.
I'm gonna wear these painful shoes. I don't know what I'm doing to myself.
Coolies, I'm back. Okay, cool. So I still quite haven't figured out what the technology will be. Maybe a portable teleporter? I don't know. Because these guys need to get to places real quick. I know for sure, absolutely, that the Demon Lord in the previous world actually invented teleportation amongst many other magics. It's why he's been able to conquer the entire world. He can get from one place to another in an instant, and he can also move troops, resources in an instant. So he's got a seamless, unlimited supply, if you will, and he very much monopolized that. But the technology was never discovered or never taken advantage of, so nobody can do exactly the same thing that he can. Maybe our character has figured out how the Demon Lord mastered teleportation, but he hasn't quite worked out all the kinks just yet, because this guy is an adamant atheist. He does not believe in magic, so he's going about it the science route, whilst the Demon Lord, the inventor of magic, went about the magic route. And yeah, it doesn't always work out the way he wants to, which means that it will probably take people to locations that he didn't know. I think this is actually good. He stole works from the Demon Lord, or maybe even just the institute he works in. Maybe the institute that he worked in. Maybe even killed the person who actually had it. Maybe
He's not a killer.
Yeah, he's not a killer. You're right. You're right. So he just stole it. He just stole it. Or maybe. What if he killed it by accident? Maybe he killed the person by accident?
I just feel like.
Yeah, nah, he's too much of a coward to do that. Yeah, okay, cool. So it works from
Because
demon.
I'm picturing that the Hebrew names.
Yeah.
Before he became a god.
Yeah. Happy that guy never really became a god. That was a variant, if you think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe just stole it from Dumb.
Or went to the future and stole it.
Maybe.
Oh,
That
that's a paradox.
that actually might be pretty cool. If I can somehow come up with a time travel thing, it could also explain why our our religious person can see the future because time is not linear. Time is like a place in as much as location
This
is.
she's about people, but I'll feel that.
Yeah, eventually. Um, cool. So it still works on the demon lord, maybe just on that, but it's the technology to teleport. It's technology to teleport, and what? And he hasn't worked out all the kinks, but so sometimes it takes you to places that you don't wanna be in. Yeah, yeah, something about the gates that the demon lord created messes up with his tech. So he is often caught desecrating the altars of the gates that power them. Yeah, nice, nice. This is actually a pretty cool way in which our character might meet them. They're just traveling and whatnot. They needed some piece of information and whatnot, and they just see something toiling, sorry, some guy toiling away, just like breaking down like a thing, and you're wondering what the hell. And then like this guy tries to like run away, but it doesn't work the way he wants to. Uh, yeah, cool. So we got something that challenges the belief of theists. Still don't know if it's good enough. Still don't know if it's good enough. Um, how about yeah, this Luffy individual? The priestess of air can enter into more than one person at the same time, and yeah, she can inhabit multiple people, and she can inhabit multiple people simultaneously and make them do things for better or for worse. Yeah. So let's say a bunch of people are about to get attacked. She will stop them or like surround the leader of whoever's doing that evil thing with a bunch of people who are now her and then just attack this guy. Just like and do something terrible. It's like really like go in on the guy, leave nothing, leave nothing at all. And I don't know, somehow keep the guy alive. I don't know. Something really messed up. It's gonna make people well, like you see her doing things for the right reasons the wrong way, or seeing her do things the wrong way for the right reasons. Uh, we have to just like blur the lines a bit. Write that down. Does wrong things for the right reasons, or right things for the wrong reasons. More on the latter, though. So yeah, should go about like giving food to the poor, healing people, um, having kids follow the right path and something like that. But she would do so simply because she wants to mess up somebody's life. You about to go, baby? Okay, you look pretty, baby. I don't have to keep doing that. Remember this, like, oh, please. Okay, alright, cool. Young second, peoples. Young second.
Just in case. I have money. I just want it in case.
So I'm gonna see it back when you come back then.
Huh?
So I'm gonna see it back when you come
Yes.
back.
If the in case didn't happen.
Okay. I bet. I don't even know if I have a lot of money back yet. Because I remember I only had like 17, something like that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, just I'm gonna bring it back.
And we are back. Cool. So, damn, I'm hungry. Okay, cool. So yeah, where were we? Yeah, have characters really like real and think why does this person exist? Why do people do good? Maybe I can also this person is very impressionable. Like like I think again I want to say theists have get challenged in their belief because they have to then ask themselves why they attribute morality to a higher power. Why not be good on your own? Why not be satisfied with life's inequalities on your own? Why do you have to come up with a reason for injustice and incompetence and unintelligibleness? So you gotta this person has to make the person say, why don't you have common sense? Of course you shouldn't do that. Or and you can't say I shouldn't do that because somebody told me to do it. Does what because of people telling her that it's the thing to do. Forcing our players slash characters to ask her, why do you have to follow other people? Why are you so convinced that they were right or had the best interests at heart? So like a little kid can come in and say, I'm hungry, and then they go in and like steal so much food from people and just like pile it on the kid, then force the kid to keep eating and say, yo, now you'll never be hungry again. The kid's like happy that they're eating bread, but she just keeps stuffing food down their throat, and she's like, yo, now that you have all this food, I'm gonna give you so much food that you will never be hungry again. But the kid's like, no, wait, I'm full now. Let me rest. And she's like, no, but then you're gonna be hungry again. And I don't want you to ever be hungry again. And she just keeps feeding him, just keeps putting bread in them. And yeah, they end up dying because they keep eating that food. Kid says hungry, so she kills a bunch. Maybe just steals. Doesn't always have to be killing. Steals a bunch. Yeah, let's just put it at steals a bunch. This will be a good opening. So she steals a bunch of bread, starts feeding child, doesn't stop even if the kid begs her till the kid passes. Something like that. That seems pretty cool. Alright, Atheists, we already got that one. A person who's really good at manipulating situations. I don't think this is a really potent character like my other two with the science and the theists. But yeah, I just have to make sure that this person has really good charisma. Some control. Oh yeah, no, never mind. They're also a prophet. So they have the good. Bye, baby. They have the good book. They know what's up. Without them, uh, yeah, they know what's going on. So you have to think, shit, maybe there is a higher power. Maybe there is an order to things. Science, you got that one. I've been at this, huh? I've been at this. I've been at this. I think 3 characters is fine. I need a 4th one though. Well, you are late. What the in, the Uber the in drive is already here? Oh wow. Okay, give me a second.
I don't want to leave to prepare into just in case.
That's right.
I'll be out of your hands, though.
No, I like you, Ron. Come on. I love you too. All right, cool. Very much wonder how this is gonna turn out. To be honest, audio all cutting and coming back and cutting and coming back, but yeah, cool. Now I have a decision to make. I need a character. I can imagine how this person looks like. I can play out a person like this. I think I can play out a character like this. I also can play out a character like this. But now I need a character with one of these. Human nature is a bit too easy. Like, human nature is like, yo, you believe that somebody's gonna do something evil, but then end up being a good person. Or, we talk about the human condition and how, oh, hey, we are so limited in many capacities and life's not fair, lizard. You see, I would like to be king, but you will never see the life of another day. But you, Lion King quote. But yeah, I don't think human nature is that interesting. And do people believe in money? Yes, but yes, and they also know it's limited. They say money can't buy happiness, but there are studies that show that they can. It's just a logarithmic curve that means that there's a diminishing return. But money can't buy immortality, at least not yet. Money can't buy talent. That's something that you're born with, or that's something that you are. I mean, you can curate talent, but that's just like expertise. That's mastery. If you're born blind, you're born fucking blind. You can't pay money to change the past. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I don't think money is what's up. Self-experience might be interesting. How do I challenge that? What is self-experience? I mean, at the very beginning, I talked about how people have perception of their environment, and that shapes the world lines in their minds, and then they come up with beliefs and whatnot. It's very much hinging on this self-experience. The only real way I think that I can see this happening is if I rewrite the history of the campaign entirely, but in a way that logically makes sense. Like, the characters shouldn't be like, that's bullshit. They should be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? They should be like, oh shit. That's what you meant the whole time? This is what we've been doing the whole time? Like, they should be like gunning for a goal. And as they pursue that goal, they realize that they've been either moving in the opposite direction the entire time, and it was all just like a mirage, or something like that. But how do you put that into a character? How do you make somebody who makes you think that way? Is it something that they do, or something that they are? Perhaps I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Not quite sure what to do over here. A little bit on a mental side. Okay, let's see if we can get some inspiration actually. So I'm just gonna close that G over there. And maybe I can maybe I can open this up. Okay, cool. We straight? Yeah, we straight. Alright. Let me filter backgrounds here. Let's see. What the hell? What the hell? Okay, cool. I need basic rules. I'm not rich like that. Okay, so we got these as our basic rules. Okay, I might do something with this. We have somebody who's a noble, and how they go about doing their things is exactly the same way a slave would do it. Blood, sweat, and tears. Really fighting to get someplace. But it's unfamiliar discomfort, maybe. Disinherited scoundrel. Maybe. Or maybe this, an honest, hardworking landowner but doesn't give a fuck about the people. I don't see how that would change people's perspective unless I like make it a plot line. Okay, fine, cool. We need a character that will move the plot. The question is, what's the plot? Oh my god. All I do is create a world, and I'm not gonna lie, yeah, there's a lot of characters that I have. Sorry, campaigns, sessions that I have where I want to accomplish something. I won't do a lot too much, but in Emperor's Usurpers, that's exactly what I'm planning to. There's something that needs to happen for us to get to a point. But other than that, it's very sandbox. I don't really do that. But okay, we can actually do that. Instead of creating a character that necessarily challenges our beliefs, we can create a character that will move the plot along. But the question is, what are we dealing with here? World details. Let me look for some inspiration. And the fallen lie sleeping, waiting for the return of their god. I remember this. I remember making this, only to replace an illustrative version of their own. I remember this as well. Yeah, I do have a plot. I do have an arc to it, but it's like the final 3 chapters situation. It's not like, oh hey, twists and turns. But perhaps I actually do need that. Something that will force our characters to learn more about the corner of the dark. Let me read a little bit more just to remember what's up. So it's a true theocracy with the divinity at their complete center. It's a cult which we know has many spies and believers. So our character can be one of those believers who are secretly all over the world population. They have a temple in the deep south, which is the coldest place on the planet, basically Antarctica. It also appears to be the most isolated. That's cool. But people just call that guy the Demon Lord. Second, to learn Ikari magic was Corner of the Sun. That's cool. Third was Earth, and then last was Ocean. These guys are the last people. Okay, so maybe this person feels lost. They're a lost individual who have not a lot going on for them, not a lot of people paying attention to them. Maybe they come from a family of like 12. and the like the like the ninth of them, like, or like maybe like somewhere like 8, 7, like the middle child or something. So there are these nobodies who, oh snap, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Maybe there are these nobodies who, oh gosh, that didn't work the way I wanted to. I'm supposed to do this, and then I'm supposed to do that. Okay. But yeah, what are we dealing with here? Okay, maybe I can look at the world history real quick. World history. What are we dealing with here? Go to war, then we go to ruler, and then the different empires growing up bit by bit. Yeah, no, we go with this one. We go with this one. Yeah, cool. Cool. That means I'm just dealing with Genesis here. All right, bet. So they're a middle child who's not looking to make a name for themselves. They're looking for purpose. But what should I say, that they're amnesiac? They don't remember anything of their past. They can't remember anything of past. I don't know. Maybe the amygdala or the hippocampus is damaged or something. Yeah, I meant hippocampus. And yeah, they live their lives one day at a time, kind of lost, not really knowing when their next meal is going to come from, but always somehow getting food. And they're not really sure what to do with themselves, what to do with their lives. They're kind of just like moping around. And these people like come up to them and they save them. They say, yo, you can have a connection with a higher power. Yeah, but then there's already higher powers everywhere. There's theocracies up the wazoo. There's deities around. So they won't be the first. In fact, it's expected for people to believe in a higher power. So maybe they don't believe in a higher power? Or rather, they don't believe in fake gods. Maybe they're like zealots or something who believe that there's only one true God, and that's like the demon lord or something like that. And they buy into the whole the demon lord shall return. But they have to be secretive about that, because that's very much that's that's heresy. That's sacrilegious. That will get you killed. So they kind of like undercovered about their what they want to do. So really the question is, why would this person want the demon lord to come back? Um okay, I guess I'm gonna have to like actually go in and read something on the side. Uh I don't actually have those notes open for yet. Yeesh. And I'm not gonna show you because this is gonna very much be part of the campaign that I'm creating. So I don't like spoils. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm just gonna have to like read this real quick. Real quick. Yada yada yada. Blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. This guy's a tyrant. He been living. He created magic. He had a plan. Okay. Uh, okay, cool. What the hell? Okay. Okay. I. Something to do. Something to do with the priest of Earth. The great priest of Earth. This guy wants. Okay. Okay. Sheesh. That was not helpful. I really did try to do something interesting here. Let's see. But I am cooking though. Let's see. Plot driver. Secretly serves a demon lord. Maybe chapter? Nah, they have to have more purpose than that. But they're not very purpose oriented. They've been given purpose. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, cool. They want to help anyone who falls from grace because there is actually can't reveal that because of the prophecy. Yeah, so the prophecy says, yo, you don't want to bring the demon lord, or you don't want to aid the demon lord, so kill anybody who falls from grace. Here's a person who falls from grace, and they're like, yo, I genuinely want to help you. But I'm not about to give my co-DM a free slave. Fuck that nigga. No. No. So they have to believe that helping them is in their they have to help in their own way. They help the MC in their own way. Right now the character that comes into mind is Papa from Stranger Things. This is a guy who is excellent. He's an excellent individual, very intelligent, very capable, extremely driven, very ambitious, but they've a warped understanding of paternal care. Very much so, it's an experiment for him, but also at the same time, that's his family. You know, he gets to decide what the children eat, when they eat, and how, makes them reach the heights of their potential, but always keeps them on a leash so that they never venture too far. So, um, nurtures the ability of the MC to work with inner God, but subvertly keeps our character on a leash to never let them become more powerful or distracted from than they want. Very strict, very capable, high stats. Yeah. Twisted thought, psychopath, good natured, sociopath, psychopath. Yeah, so this guy's a genuinely good person, but they're good at what they do. Just so happened to be met by people who follow heresy, and learned of the rich history of the world. Let me say, uh, they are aware of one of the three great lies. Question is, which of the three great lies, though? Cool. The first one is that gods are not whimsical characters. The second one is magic is not occultic whispers. Lastly, is humanity is not some victim. They have the power to subjugate the thingy. So I'm definitely gonna admit this one. They can't know that the people is a power. Magic is not occultic whispers. It's just the stealing forces of nature. I think they should know this one. And then firstly, gods are not whimsical thinking. I think that defeats the purpose. They need to know that their god will return. He is truly the dark, the demon lord. So they know that magic is just distilling forces of nature. So this guy's a wizard then. Right? They're really good. Super high level wizard that only engages when if MC uses the power of the inner god or would make that ability more powerful. Sometimes might attack to force out more out of the MC. Cool. All right, cool. But this is known. They don't secretly serve the demon lord. This is known. They outright come up to the dude and say, "I bet, nigga. I see you're fallen from grace. I don't see that you have a lot of allies or choices. Anybody who is anybody believes in some way or form in the theocracies that exist in the empires that are out there. So you might as well know what we're offering over here. I can help you commune with the. Nah, it has to be secret. It has to be secret. Um, but it's implied. It's implied because he knows that he serves like the dark nation, like the dark empire. Sorry, the corner of the dark. I'm so sorry. Yeah, like our MC should know that this person probably serves the corner of the dark. But yeah. Mhm. 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 Okay, cool. So this character follows our MC because of the inner god that lives with him. This one follows. Sorry, hold up. This one is found out by our characters, and he just happens to follow along, and he's useful because he can teleport. This one is. This one is probably the Temple Inquisitor that is forced to work with them. They will fight a very lot with these two. They're incredibly annoying to deal with. And is the most likely to betray all of them. But at the same time, is always trying to bring them back to God. Most likely to betray them, but is deeply called to try and bring them back to God. So it's trying to what's the word? Evangelize? You know, I'm trying to bring them back to God, some type shit. Might even delay the capture of our MC just to make sure that his soul is saved. No. Let's see, forces player to believe in a higher power, typical forces player moments, but also forces the situation, master and manipulator, really good charisma, they're a prophet, they know what's going to happen, bits and pieces. Also great source of information to the players because they can see the future. Annoying to deal with, most likely to betray them, but deeply called to try and they might even. Okay, yeah, cool. We have a okay, cool. And then lastly, we have this Luthi character who comes and goes. So we have 1, 2, 3 that are probably going to be around our MC a lot more than not, depending on the situation. Our first individual to be with them is probably the plot driver, followed by the this person, anti-atheists, anti-atheist, the anti-science, and that's weird. Hold up. And anti-theist. Okay, so we're gonna start with our plot driver. So I have to put that at the top. And then we're gonna have our anti. These guys will fight for sure. Yeah, these guys will fight for sure. We want somebody who'd be like balanced. This guy has to essentially be outnumbered. Higher power. Okay, yeah, cool. So we have the plot driver, but this person's kind of like a person that pops in and out. They're not always there, which is fine. If we have our main character and this character and maybe 2 other characters, like in other players, that's 4 characters, which is fine. And then this person can pop in and out, making it 5. Then we have this person who comes in, which is fine. This person's probably gonna come late in the game so that it can get people back all the way south. Probably comes late in the game so that they can go south. Perhaps there is a great natural barrier that stops characters from making it south and have to find someone who can get them there. They are looking for, what are they looking for? They're looking for a travel guide or some kind of ferry, but learn that there is an even faster way, one that can cut their travel time from months to minutes. Yeah, so that's gonna intrigue them. This is gonna come really late in the game. It's not always there. Yeah, I'll be really excited to use him. Cool. So this guy's a swindler. This is a person who's an inquisitor, and this is the person that fucks shit up. And we got a plot driver. Cool. We have our characters. Self experience. Plot driver. I think yeah. We can actually keep building on the plot driver. They don't share common experiences, have weird interests, and hyperfixations. Hyperfixations. What else? and never laugh. Physically impossible for them. They just don't get it. Cool. This is a person who's never laughed, has never felt the need to laugh. But they're really good. They're an incredible, powerful wizard. They know what's up. And they want to bring out the inner god that exists within our MC. We have an anti. Oh yeah, okay. I think we did good work, guys. We did good. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. What? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 seriously pivotal characters for that we can spin around our character. Even if there's just one person playing a session, there's at least 2 other characters that I can play back and forth between them, and each of them has something to do. Just a second, right now. I'm having a slight issue right now. She's gone. I'm currently doing something, yes. Salt? We have our own salt, but if you want to borrow.
No, there is another container we should get there.
Oh, no, I see. He brought it here. Why did he borrow salt when he had it? Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, cool. I'm back. Cool. I think we're kind of set for now. Wi-Fi is tripping heavy. I'm just seeing like I'm getting 0 KB per second on my frames, and I'm like, wow, that is painful. Can't really tell when I go on and off. Can't really tell, but I think we did a really good session here. This is Blind Conquest, and this is world building. I am your DM, Typhlos. I'm about to do the closing remarks for real this time, but I'm pretty excited about the campaign that we're about to do. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I won't lie to you. People. It's one thing to organize a bunch of people to come together. It's another thing to have 2 co-DMs. I mean, 2 DMs, and then have more people. I think the biggest problem with just this channel in general is just, excuse me about that burp, by the way. It's just I have to organize the thingy. Like, scheduling is the kryptonite. It's the nat 1 of all D&D campaigns. Nat 1 role of all D&D campaigns. So if I don't manage our time well enough, not enough people will show. And I try to curb it by having multiple campaigns run at the same time. But I also know that Ren wants serious people in this campaign. As you can already see, a lot of what's going on here, it's very much sandbox. So we need people to like get out into the world and like figure shit out. You know what I mean? I also feel like this is not the only session I'm going to be creating characters. These are going to be pivotal characters, right? Let me actually label that. Challenge their belief. Here is 4 pivotal characters, right? And then I'm gonna need maybe 5 world building characters. I'm gonna do the next session, right? I need a character that makes you feel the theocracy, that makes you feel the power that sections of the empire have, makes you feel like outcast among citizens, xenophobia, what else? points to you as a sheep among wolves. And what's this one? Make a love interest that might scale anyone who ends up with them. That would make somebody important. Then kill them off when they need them. What would that serve? Yeah, I mean, like, how would that world build? Kill them off, and die a death that is typical on their world, but not in ours. Alright, cool. Makes you feel the theocracy, the institutional and organizational might of a state, powerful state led by religion, and how people work to collect and maintain that power. What else? Okay, makes you feel the theocracy, the institutional and organizational might of a powerful state led by religion. Makes you feel the power of the sections that are in power and how people work to collect and maintain that power. Makes you feel an outcast among citizens. Yeah, I think that one's self-explanatory. Is that how you spell among? God. I don't know. And then let's see, make love interest the skills. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a fifth one. What about the world am I trying to? What's this world that I'm trying to create? I believe that I'm trying to create a world that. I mean, okay, I created characters that challenge your belief, but maybe I should create a world that enhances your belief. Create a world that mirrors our own in a lot of ways so that you can easily see yourself in it. Okay, so I might have to rethink some of these things. Make them feel like it's a world that mirrors our own in a lot of ways. Like, let's say, for example, look in this institutional might of a powerful state led by religion. That's interesting, I won't lie. But maybe it should feel a lot like how QAnon supporters are. I don't know if that's politically charged. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, Donald Trump is kind of like a god to them. Um, so something along those lines. It's also the same over here, also in Botswana. Like, they look at, like, Duma Boko like a god more times than not. Well, depending on who you ask, to be honest. But that messiah perspective on leaders is very much indicative. Not even indicative. It's very much a feature of African nations. Think Africa and their messiahs, revolutionists, and whatnot. Yeah. Mugabe. Uh, what's this nigga from Liberia? Um, God, I forgot him. But yeah, they're all over the place. A guy who says, "Hey, you can do better. We can do better," and like gets people to thinking you can change things. People uh, doing nothing for themselves and waiting for their leaders to make a difference. Okay. And then over here, the power of the sections, how people collect and maintain that power. I think this actually just speaks to that. This is almost the same thing. Yeah. Those manipulate people through corruption and ties to the Messiah to get their way. Name dropping. Um, Position dropping. And seeing the world open up for them. Cool. Then this one's a bit harder. I'm not really sure what to do quite. Maybe I can take some personal notes for myself. Sometimes I really do feel like an outcast. Yeah. Uh, Treated lesser than because you are different. Not in a evil way, more like in a dismissal way. Like they won't even give you the time if you aren't affiliated in one way or form. Or if you don't practice what they know, it's impossible for them to see you become anything at all. Cool. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's four. Not sure yet. We'll see. All right. Goddamn. I think that's it. That's all I got for you. I believe. I don't really need that even. I can actually close that up even. Like, yeah, because I think I did a pretty good job trying to make it know what I'm trying to like accomplish here. Um, yeah, I think I think we're cooking. Yeah, I think we're cooking. Uh, I had a lot of fun just like talking this out. At some point, my girl was also talking as well, and that was actually really interesting to do. I think the world is coming up a bit. Next session, I'm also going to do for world building. I'm also going to focus a lot more on character development. I feel like again, really good at world building to some degree, but it's not so real unless there's a voice behind it. Usually, that's my own voice because narration is really good at world building, but sometimes it gotta be in a different voice. Really like flesh out the details here and there. But I'm really glad that you guys have joined me on this journey creating a world. Next session will probably be next Thursday, if not Saturday. But this world building session is gonna happen a whole lot more unpredictable. I will tell you that for free. But otherwise, yeah, this is world building. This is Blind Conquest, and I am Typhlos. I said that wrong. I'm Typhlos. This is World Building, and you watching Blind Conquest. Thank you so much for joining me. Till next time. Till next time. Bless.